Our next speaker is Andreas Schlegel. He's actually the coordinator of the Lasalle Media Lab, and what they specialize there is a cross-section of graphic design but also technology, and I'm going to leave Andreas to share more.
Thanks, Sarah. Oh, my name's spelled wrongly. Okay, I'm trying to explain creative coding to you in the next 5 minutes or 3 minutes. And I gave my talk, or these 5 minutes, the subtitle Adventures in Void Draw. And don't be afraid of syntax error, because this is where people cannot get fuzzy about getting into this particular topic. Andreas Schlegel, that's my name. As Sarah said, I'm currently teaching at Lasalle College of the Arts in the Media Arts department. And I'm also running a lab, a small media lab where I work with staff and other students. And we usually work with code, we work with technology, we work to make art or to create design. And this is where the creative coding part comes in. We write a lot. And we don't write text or anything. Oh, I'm not there yet, sorry. But we write software code. We're lucky that we have a lot of open source and freely available softwares out there. Back then, when I started using code as a material for my practice, there was none. So now we have tons of it, and these are just a few. And the 4 major ones that I use is processing, maybe someone has heard of it before, open frameworks, Arduino to develop custom electronics, and Civilisations is an application to program sound or real-time sound synthesis. So this is usually how my desktop looks like every day. So for designers that's very scary, because you're used to palettes and you're used to menus and you're used to Photoshop and images. But for me it's the numbers, and for me it's the instructions, and for me it's the parameters that I like to play with. So this is where people get scared and say, no, I don't want to do this. I think if I run the whole thing and run that program, then people say, okay, wait a minute, maybe I get a little bit interested in what's happening here. So that's basically the program that you just saw in the back, just running. It's a program that plays with the idea of glitches and errors in the program. I used that program to introduce a few students that came to me who wanted to learn programming as a starting point to play with. So when you start learning programming, you don't start, or that's what I think, you should not start reading a book and then imitating the book and trying to get it right. I think for me it's very important to play with all these numbers and see what they do. Just change things, change here, change there, and then use it as a material and not as something that you have just learned from a book. As I said, I used it as a starting point for students to develop a work together. So if you take away all the windows and if you take away all the code and all the text, I think for me there's a beauty in it, or that's something that I can visually enjoy. What I enjoy much more is when things like that happen. When I give out the code, we start off from the same point, but because of different personalities and different tinkering routines, we end up with a lot of different outcomes. Thanks. I don't just want to stop on screen-based works. I also want to get these works out into, give it some physicality. So what we did with this project then, after we had some nice visuals on the screen, we designed an installation work using old iMacs and put them on the floor, put some speakers and sounds, or attached some speakers and sounds to it, and used it as an audiovisual interface to interactively manipulate the visuals on the screens while you're moving across the camera of each individual screen. Which would then also manipulate the sounds that are played back by the sound system. So I think for me that's kind of an adventure in what I mean by an adventure in word draw. And for me it's always important to have this element of surprise, so you never know where you're going when you start. And then people ask me, so what kind of advices can you give? And I think the advices that I would like to give is to learn from others, to tweak and adapt. So don't just read a book, don't copy, and practice a lot. I think that's